Hey, Richard Bryce here, tennis hacker. In this video, I want to talk to you about mental toughness and how you can work on yourself to become more mentally tough. I hope you find the video helpful. If you do, be awesome if you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already done so, really appreciate it if you could subscribe to my channel as well. Mental toughness is one of the most important parts of tennis. And the key thing to understand is that mental toughness is kind of a skill or a set of skills that you have to train yourself to get better at. People aren't born with it. It's something that you have to develop and you have to work on. We can break it down in different ways. So you can think about kind of focus and concentration. You can think about decision making. You could think about your ability to stay positive, or you could think about your ability to stay present. So there's lots of different components that could go into mental toughness. But what I want to focus on this video is how you actually train them. It's kind of thinking about them as a skill. And because it's a skill, you have to train them in a very deliberate way, just like you need to train your strokes in a very deliberate way. If you go, right, I want to improve my forehand, and then you step out on court and you just go and play points and play matches, the chances of you improving your forehand are slim to zero, which is why so many people don't improve their forehand. But you have to take the same approach to improving your mental toughness as you would do your strokes. You have to identify something that you want to improve. So with my forehand, I've identified that I want to change the way I prepare, or I've identified whatever it is. You then have to go and focus on that for a number of practice sessions and build it up over time. You have to do the same thing with mental toughness as well. So if you've identified that you lose focus too often, then you have to very consciously and deliberately go, right, I am going to spend a period of time working on my focus and working on my concentration. And that means that when you step out on court for practice, or you step out on court for your matches or whatever it is you're doing, then your intent is going to be to get better at focusing. So before the practice session, you set that intent. Okay, today I'm really working on my focus. This is the thing that I'm going to concentrate on. Anytime my mind starts to wander, I'm going to bring myself back to what I should be thinking about. And again, it might be thinking about a specific coaching point, but you have to have that intention before you step out on court. And then when you're practicing, when you're on court, you have to be aware of what you're doing. You have to make yourself aware of what you're doing. So if you're working with a coach or you're working with a practice partner, whatever you're working on, your idea is to, or your goal is to try and be as focused as possible. If you kind of realize your mind's wandering and you're thinking about your work, or you're worrying about a situation at home, or you're thinking about something else, you have to bring yourself back. You have to catch yourself, and you have to bring your mind back to what you're focusing and you're meant to be doing. And this is called deliberate practice, or deep and deliberate practice. And the way this works is you're not going to get it perfect every time. If you were able to do something perfect every time, then you don't need to practice it and learn it anymore. You're intentionally going to be doing something that's hard for you to do. So if losing focus is something you do a lot, it's going to take time for you to improve it. You have to be okay that there's mistakes. There will be times that you lose focus, but literally the whole goal, the whole thing that you're working on is recognizing it, trying to bring yourself back and trying to improve it. It could be the same for positive self-talk. If you realize you're the sort of person that gets really negative and you miss shots and you go, oh, Richard, you suck, man, you're a piece of expletive, and you know that that's something you do, obviously that is not going to help your tennis. It's something you have to work on getting rid of. You have to stay more positive. That's part of being more mentally tough. So you have to set that intent before you step out on court, and then when you're on court, you have to practice. You have to consciously be aware of when you start to say negative things to yourself, and you have to replace them with positive things. Same thing for decision making. If you know that you make silly shots and you go down the line too soon off a shot that you've got no business, you have to have the intent of improving your shot selection. You have to have the intent of being more disciplined within rallies, and then you have to go out and you have to practice and you have to work on it. And that's the way that improving mental toughness works. Everything is a skill. Everything is trainable. The more you allow yourself to do something badly, the better you get at doing it badly, or in other words, the worse you get at it. The more you practice doing something well, the better that you're going to get at it. You don't suddenly go from being, really weak in an area to being amazingly strong. It takes time. It's gradual. You have to work on it. But if you put the effort in, you can change your mental toughness, and that's going to make a massive difference in the way that you can play. Now, I've got a masterclass where I go in a lot deeper about this. It's going to give you some specific strategies to work on different things. It's also going to talk about some of the things that can hold you back in terms of mental toughness, because yes, you want to work on the skill, but often there can be things going on within your body that make it a lot harder to be mentally tough. So I'll be talking about those in the masterclass as well. So I'll place the link down in the description, and I'll place a link up there so you can check it out. But hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions or you've got any comments, leave them down below. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll get back to you as quick as I can.